Okay, hello everybody.
Happy New Year.
Hey, only 7 minutes late, but I did have to get groceries. I mean, reality starts tomorrow, so I don't know how I feel about that. How do you feel about that? You going to work?
I'm going to work, yeah.
You are?
I got
Hi, Concierge and Jessa. Woo! We still have groceries on the counter.
We still have to unpack from our trip.
Oh, for God's sake. No, mostly.
Are we? I think there's still ski helmets in the bedroom.
Woo! Hi, Karen.
Not that I'm complaining about that. That's a good thing.
I know. You might hear Bailey huffing. All right, we're going to give it a minute. We're going to give it a minute, people, because it's been almost a month.
Yeah.
Almost a month since we updated. We had a lot of great intentions to do updates. Holidays.
We're going to do one from the slopes, and
We
you nixed that one. You weren't a fan.
I looked like hell. I mean, I could have put my hat on. My toque.
Yeah, you look cute in that toque.
Got a new one. All right. So, you guys, it's been a freaking... It was amazing, Dina. It's been, crazy month and a half.
Yeah. I mean,
it's about a month and a half because it was about a month and a half ago.
Because it was mid-November when we started.
Almost 2 months.
Yeah, and then the second.
When we started this new leg of the journey.
Yep, the second MRI came back.
Holy Christmas.
Mid-December.
Holy Christmas, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you've been watching, you know there was a suspicious spot on the November. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. On the November MRI, right? So then December 4th, right?
December 4th, I did the MRI.
You got this
but we didn't get it
follow-up.
read until mid-December.
So it was like a 3-week difference from suspicion to second MRI to then another week to be read.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was clearly growth.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, clearly growth. So that was a little wrinkle in the holiday, in the already stressful holiday season. So
the good news was I was still able to go on a ski trip, and that worked out no problem. Didn't have any issues.
Went to
was
Park
in
City
good shape.
with
Park
walkers.
City.
It was so fun.
Yeah,
it was really fun.
So we just a quick recap. Once the second one came back and they said, yeah, there's probably growth there, we went into like hyper research mode. Lisa,
we had our research team.
Yeah, Lisa and Jess both came with us to Duke.
To Duke for the reading.
For
the
that
reading
trip.
of the MRI, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they gave us, 2 or 3 studies that we could do. 2 that were at Duke, and then 1 was the polio trial, which is one that's gotten a lot of publicity. And they were not doing it any longer at Duke because they're trying to move it into a phase 3, and to do that, they have to get it out to more centers.
So it's overseen by Duke, but it's still a Duke thing. It just has to be other centers. So
what we figured
out
was
one of the options was Jacksonville.
We had kind of maybe 3 options to go with. One was do what I called the Western medicine, which was a trial. Really, that's the only thing that you have available is one of these trials, and then you have to qualify for the trial. You have to figure out which one you're going to do, and then if you do one, it might exclude you from another in the future. So there's a lot of stress going on with trying to figure out which way to turn. And one of the problems that we had, and we had this in the very beginning, and I think a lot of people have it, is you get a lot of information, but there's no clear...
JoJo said she's got no sound. Does everybody else have sound? She said she has no sound. Punkage, do you have sound? Jessa? Anyone? Could be just JoJo.
Maybe she has to turn it up.
Maybe you need to take it off mute, JoJo.
No,
just kidding.
She would be on mute. We'd be on mute. Yeah. She's got a volume. Yeah.
Okay. Ginny says she has sound. We're going to keep going. Okay. Thank you, Ginny.
So, so that's the Western medicine route. You get into some trial and you're a guinea pig again. And I was in one already. And unbeknownst to us, we found out that being in this trial that wasn't supposed to preclude us from everything.
I mean, we specifically asked that question.
Yeah.
Specifically asked if it was going to nix us out of any future studies.
Yeah.
And we got the answer that no.
No, it wouldn't, because it's regrowth, it's brand new, and blah, blah, blah. Well,
in fact,
that is not correct.
Yeah.
We were looked at Dana-Farber and had multiple studies that we couldn't do that because of this one that I was on before.
Yeah.
So at any rate, a lot of confusion there. The second option would be, well, we're going to do surgery again. Just go get it, whatever's in there, get it out.
I mean, for a hot minute, that was very tempting because it feels so, you have so much anxiety and so much stress, and it's just like in that first initial diagnosis, when you have to make a decision so fast and everybody gives you different information. And the thing is growing, and you got to get it done, and you got to decide what you're going to do, and you feel like you have this much time, then throw the holidays in. And the fact that everybody's going to be out for the holidays, so we'd have nobody to even do anything we wanted.
Yeah, we couldn't do any of the studies. We couldn't start with anything until the earliest they said was January 6th. And then that ended up getting pushed to the 20th of January. So we went into that saying, well, that might be a problem, because now you're giving it
that much more time.
We know that it's growing in there, and now you're giving it like 8 weeks to grow, when in 3 weeks it grew to the point where they were like, oh yeah, that's growth.
Mm-hmm.
So our second option was, well, let's just do surgery, and then we'll
just buy some time.
Kind of buy a little bit of time, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Continue doing MRIs, and then don't do the study or something like that until we catch it when it's not very invasive, or it's not big. So we just didn't know what to do there. And then the third option was what was the third option?
Well, we had the Pseudomonas and the Polio.
Well, that's Western medicine.
Oh, Western.
That was the Western medicine option. I guess the other one was a little bit more of a.
CAR-T?
No, that was the Western medicine as well. It was basically do more on the natural path side and try some alternative methods. But that probably wasn't going to be like a primary option. That would be like, well, do that, and then if it continues growing, then you do the surgery route, and then you backtrack to one of the studies. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on here in the last 2 months or so that was kind of running through.
And we had four of us working on it.
And Lisa and Jess were great, going through researching like crazy, calling docs and talking to them.
Reaching out to people.
Reaching out to a lot of different people.
Yeah, and even with that, it was supremely stressful. It's hard to think about.
Well, sometimes even more so, because you continue getting.
Well, maybe because you get too much information.
Right, you get a lot of information. You just don't know which way to.
Yeah.
Is there a good way? And nobody will tell you. The doctors know it's all research, and we don't know. Even the Duke docs, are like, well, we don't know. Ask a lot of questions, make your own decision.
Go with your gut.
Yeah.
We got that from everybody.
Which one feels?
What does your gut say?
What does your gut say?
What does effing science say? That's what I want to know. What does science say?
Science says.
I mean, I'm all about the gut instinct. I am. It's true. But sometimes I would just like a freaking straight answer about something.
So at any rate, we had we kind of narrowed it down to saying, let's.
Feeling a little warm.
A little warm.
Is it because I'm sitting
still
so
on my
close
workout
to you?
gear. No, you're cooled down now.
I'm not talking about menopause. I'm talking about just me.
I'm not either. Oh, yeah.
Making you hot.
Yes, you're a hot tamale. Yes.
Oh my God.
So polio's been one that we've heard about and looked into for a long time, and it was kind of a front runner. It seemed like a lot of the research people we talked to, a lot of the contacts Lisa had made. When I say a lot, maybe two. That had kind of given us a little bit of an angle, so polio maybe for you makes sense to go that trial route. It's been around for a long time. They know how to monitor it. They know how to, to countermeasure things that are going on in there. And what we heard was what polio does is they they make a small incision and then they drill a hole.
Sorry, see what Kathy said? She wants to hear the menopause conversation.
No,
you don't.
Hold that for later. And then they drill a hole into your head, and then they put a catheter actually into the tumor, and then they infuse.
They put polio straight into
polio that's been genetically modified into that tumor, and then your body goes, whoop! There's something that's not supposed to be there, because obviously you've got the polio vaccine, and they give you a booster, and it goes after it, so it knows where to go, and then blows it up. And the way they described that was, the problem is when it blows it up, then there's little kind of particles that are left behind, and a lot of times the issue is that those particles can then grow into more tumor or more problems, or sometimes spread within the brain, and that's certainly not a good thing. The way it was explained to me is, if it happens from that particular tumor that was hit with the polio, then it kind of radiates it. It kind of gives the body a target, because it all came from that one tumor, and then it knows how to clean it all up. So the body goes and cleans it up. So it's immunotherapy, which is the same thing that I had with the CMV before. It's just a bit more aggressive, I guess.
It's a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
Straight into your brain.
Yeah, and the concern is swelling. The surgery is very, as brain surgeries go, very simple. I'm in for like a day. They do the surgery.
Like what, an hour and a half or something?
Yeah, hour and a half. They put the little catheter in. The next day they do the infusion.
Which they said, I liked how he described it. He said the catheter is about the size of, I don't know if you guys can see this. The string
Yeah,
on this necklace. So that was smaller than I pictured, honestly.
Small.
I was picturing like...
And then the next day you're out. So you're in Monday for surgery. Tuesday they infuse. Wednesday you hit the road. I like that. That was a much better, that was more appealing to me, but the brain swelling thing I'm not a big fan of that whole deal. But it seemed like they have their arms around that with some weapons they can use to tamp things down and chill things out in the head, so it doesn't get, out of control. So we were leaning towards that polio, and ultimately we decided that's the way we're going to go. I went down to Jacksonville. I still have to qualify for it, so I'm doing a bunch of tests. The first set of tests came back fine. Duke recommended
15 tubes of blood.
Yeah, that was...
The 15 tubes of blood came back fine.
Little story, as an aside. We went down there to meet with all the doctors.
2 days before Christmas or 3 days before Christmas?
Yeah. They said, well, you come on down and meet with the doctors. And I was like, okay, well, I'll make it happen. So Pam and I got in the car and drove to Jacksonville.
That's a good question. Will they take the tumor out and then put the polio in, or just put the polio in?
Just put the polio in. The tumor stays in as a target. So that's why they had to wait for regrowth to do this. You actually have to have a tumor as the target.
Right. Good question, though.
So we drove down to Jacksonville, and originally it seemed like everything was great. We walked in.
Well, actually, it was really wicked cool. We left, it didn't start great, because we got out. We were trying to leave here at 6 a.m. to beat the Atlanta traffic. The battery was dead in the car, freaking freezing. Finally got that going. We got down there. We stopped for McDonald's for our breakfast. And then had no time because the dead battery had no time to get lunch. Our appointment was at 1:30, and we got there at 1:27. And we pulled in, and I didn't know that it was actually, what's the place called? Baptist in Jacksonville, Baptist
MD
something
Anderson.
But it's the cancer center is actually an MD Anderson Cancer Center at Baptist, and it's a Duke study at Baptist. So we were like, it's kind of like
all the top players
all in one spot. So that was kind of cool. But
so anyway, we went through, met the doctor, liked him a lot. They said, do you want to go meet the surgeon?
He spent so much time with us.
He did.
He was so good.
And we said, sure, we can meet the surgeon. Where is it? Well, you got to drive down here. And I said, well, how long is it going to take me to get there? Oh, it won't be long.
No, you'll be in and out.
Yeah,
and we were like, well, can we walk? They said, no, it's a little crazy. Just drive. It would have been so much.
So we drove, and traffic was crazy and didn't know how to get there really. And we found it finally and went upstairs. And We were not greeted.
It was a
with,
gigantic shit show.
Yeah, they did not know we were coming, or they knew, but they thought we were coming earlier.
They thought, yeah, we were.
Are
Are we going to see them even though they're an hour late? We're like,
Yeah.
we didn't even have an appointment,
Right.
so how
Anyway,
are we late?
So it was a shit show, and I had not eaten all day. I was like,
He was angry.
I was like, do you have some crackers or something? Although I can't eat crackers. How about some beef jerky? I'll take some beef jerky.
Should have brought you some.
Should have brought some of that. So we went there, met the surgeon, really liked him.
Too.
Yeah, he was very
We had to wait
good.
forever to see him, but
Forever.
He was cool.
Sucked. So because that took so long, we were supposed to go back and like sign the paperwork that said, okay, yep, we want to do this, and you have to actually do that in front of somebody. So we were like, all right, we'll do it. We walk in, she goes, they
because
just
now it's like 6 p.m.
Yeah, she's like, they just closed the lab. I'm like, so what? What does that mean? Oh, we have to do all these lab draws and this and this and this and this and this because they have to test it. Blah 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 blah. I said, you didn't tell us about that. She said, oh yeah, I thought you'd be back earlier.
Well, she sent us over at 4:30, and the lab closed at 5.
No, it closed at 6. It was 6:15 when we got back, I think. She said it just closed at 6.
Oh, I remember the hours being 5, but either
way, it was closed, and we were out of luck. I was like, can I do it up at Emory? No, you have to do it here. Everything's got to be here. So that meant I had to go all the way back down there to do a blood test. So long
20
story,
minutes.
It literally, my mom and I, we drove back down on...
Which, for those who don't know, is a...
5 hours.
5-hour drive.
We drove back down on the 23rd of December. We went...
No, you went the 26th.
It was right after.
Right after. 26 or 27?
27.
We went right before.
So I drove all the way down there, literally 5 hours on the road. Blood, now they took 15 tubes, granted. But I was out of there in 20 minutes, literally back on the road, driving back to Atlanta. So that was a shit show.
It's a little annoying.
It was annoying, but it is the world of these research things. They, normally your inconvenience is tough shit, kind of.
It is tough shit.
They're like, too bad.
He started getting mad at her. I was like, don't make the people playing with your brain mad, please. You got a little salty with the surgeon, with the nurse before the surgeon. I'm like, he's going into your brain. Please don't make him mad. I don't care how angry you are right now.
I'm angry. So anyway,
like, stop yelling.
We did that, came back. So far, the tests are looking good to qualify for that polio trial. So right now, the game plan for you viewers that want to be able to get to bed because kids got to go back to school tomorrow.
Yikes.
On Wednesday, I fly down to do another battery test and another MRI. So if it's grown too big, they can't. Now I'm disqualified again. So that's one of our concerns.
Has to be under 5 or 5.5?
5.5.
Okay.
Centimeters.
I get them confused.
And they do a CT, more blood, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of other stuff they got to do on Wednesday. So I'm flying down there this time, not driving. And then I'll fly back. So fly down in the morning, meet with, do a bunch of tests, 10 o'clock till about 1, meet with the doctor again, and then by 3 I should be finished for my plane to come back at 5. So that's the game plan. And then surgery for that is supposed to be January 20th.
When you go down for 3 days.
I go down for 3 days and then, see what happens from there. So now everything's transitioning to Jacksonville.
Cheesy. Not salty with a surgeon.
Yeah. Everything's transitioning to Jacksonville versus Duke. I will say that traveling to Jacksonville in the spring will be more enjoyable than going to Duke
we
in the
could
spring.
pop over and see
Gav.
Or the beach.
Or the beach.
Gavin's still
I
far
got
away.
some friends in Jacksonville too. I got a good buddy of mine from college that lives in Jacksonville. So I have to, Dave, if you're listening, I might have to look you up. Oh.
What?
No. Oh, it was Rachel. I thought it was Dave.
Dave Merrill. Rachel Merrill.
Yeah.
Yeah, so polio it is.
Yeah.
After much deliberation. It was, I feel good about it. Do you feel good about it?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And if it doesn't work, then we just have surgery again. Cut it out and kind of start over.
Just have surgery. But it's interesting because this is just a little bit of a longer version of that story. But one thing that I think is very important, and Anita, I saw that you're watching this, and I freaking appreciate your post yesterday so much about your own journey with cancer, because there's so much that goes into this that we never knew, and no, how do you know until you're in it? And I feel like we're pretty seasoned medical people, given our experience, and this whole world is a whole nother friggin' level, because, you know, I know Jess and Lisa who are watching, that it's crazy. You gather all this information, right? You gather this information, and it's literally like we left Duke feeling like, okay, we're going to do polio or pseudomonas. Maybe this CAR T study. This CAR T thing is cool, right? But it's very, very new. So we were like,
these are some of the other studies that were
These
available.
are 3 of the studies that were available through Duke. And so we were like, okay, well, the people at Duke called Jacksonville and said, get him in the polio study, because there were only limited spots, but they put him in so he'd have a spot if he wanted it. Then we go and we meet with the surgeons next, right? We met with his original Dr. Olson, Emory surgeon.
Yeah.
And he comes in, because Duke was like, you don't do a second surgery. You don't take another tumor out. That you just don't do it. We don't do it. Nobody does that.
No, they don't do it.
They don't do
Yeah.
it. So we're like, why not? Well, because to us, we're like, well, this is going to buy us some time. We need to have time. We need to have time to make an educated decision, and there's too much information out there. We have Sean Grover talking to doctors in Spain. We have Lisa tracking down this Japanese study. I mean, we're all over the friggin' globe. We need more than a minute to figure all this out, right? So we're gathering all this information. Duke says you can't do a second study. Well, we decide surgery. We meet with Dr. Olson, who did his first surgery and quite successfully.
Yeah, really
so
good.
we love him. And he's like, well, if you want to, he's like, absolutely. We do second surgeries all the time. Like, people come here from all over to do a second surgery.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that's what we're going to do. And then he said, well, but if you want it done in the next couple of weeks, I'm not going to be here. So you have to meet this other doctor. Okay, we'll meet with her. But he walked out of the room, and I said, we're not having any other doctor in his head. He was awesome. He's a friggin' rock star. We're using him. Then she comes in, Dr. Wong. She comes in. She's got her scrubs on, her cowboy boots.
Literally came right out of surgery.
And she was freaking awesome. And she studied at Duke. And so we said to her, why does Duke say they won't do a second surgery? She's like, well, they used to when I was there. Maybe because, well, they say it doesn't change the outcome, but it does buy you time.
So what Duke's kind of opinion on it is, they're like, it's just it's not really worth the risks of going back in there
Another
again.
surgery.
And I think Duke feels like their studies have a better opportunity to, to knock it out, or at
Be
least
a game changer.
Yeah, be more of a game changer, because they've got people out of polio that were 8 years survivors.
Mm-hmm.
Now it came back, and they had to do another infusion of it to kind of knock it out again. So it was almost like, you get a vaccine, and sometimes the vaccine it kind of wears off.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to get a booster, which in this case was just going back in and doing another pop up with their infusion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's Duke's bottom line, is they just, look, we can cut it out as many times as you want. It's just going to keep growing back. So that's not a solution.
So, but for us, it was just buying us a little time so we could we'd have more time to make a decision. So then
so that it wouldn't get too big, because remember the research assistant at Duke, they were saying,
they were like, you can't wait until mid-January. You can't. That's going to be too big.
Yeah, because then trying to keep ahead.
Dr. Olson is like, what do you call it? Like puny, dinky.
Dinky.
He called it dinky. It's a dinky little thing
in there.
So we're like, wait a second, you said dinky?
Yeah.
Because we're thinking, holy crap, it's growing so fast, we don't have any time. And so
December 4th, it was dinky.
Yeah. And then
we'll see on Wednesday.
Yeah. But then Dr. Wong says, so then the other thing was, these studies, like in San Francisco, wanted to have samples of the tumor. And so we asked Dr. Olson, if you do the resection, can we get a sample of the tumor to send to San Francisco, and then they can use whatever, blah, blah. He's like, the tumor is different once it's out of the brain, so okay, fine, whatever. So we're like, he
He was not very encouraging.
It's not a no. And then she says, oh yeah, just tell me exactly what you need. Because she's younger in it, like whatever, different perspective.
Yeah.
And so she's like,
great.
I just want to know exactly what you need. Find out from those people and those who are running those studies, and I'll get you what you need. So we're like, okay. Like he left, and like nobody else is getting in your brain. She leaves. I was like, maybe she needs to be in his brain, because man, that's awesome if she's willing to do that. What is Lisa saying? Doesn't like their patients to go out of their studies. That's true. And then we go to Jacksonville, and we're talking, and Lisa asked the question about this Duke study, the CAR T cell study, which is like taking the white blood cells out of your body, supercharging them, make them into super powered, charged
T cells.
Super, like they go shoo, like home in on the stuff. And so we asked the
What was that sound effect you just used? Could you do that again for the people?
I can. It's like Star Wars. And then so he literally starts laughing when Lisa asked the question. He was like, oh my God, that might be good in like 10 years,
yeah.
but not now.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, excellent, crossed off the list. Not doing that. Then he and Jess go to talk to Dr. Reed, who is an oncologist at Emory, just to talk about other ideas. And
having somebody local that I can kind of go to.
prescriptions and blah, blah, blah. He says, you might want to rethink that CAR T study, because that's really exciting.
Yeah.
So we're like, what the fuck? Like every time another doctor walks in the room,
well, that's
and like we think we've crossed something off. We're like, eek, every time.
Yeah, you really have to. You have to do it.
Oh my God. So anyway.
There you have it. Have another drink. Can you smell wine? I got a bottle open.
Good.
I opened a bottle.
I do have a bottle open. So I know this is going long, but there's a lot in a month and a half. And the bottom line is, we've decided to go with polio. As long as all the hoops get jumped through properly, and it hasn't grown too big. And so we'll know all that.
If it's grown like too big, and we're like, man, we're starting way behind the 8 ball, then we can come back to Emory and just
decide which surgeon.
Let's do another surgery, and then hang out, and you just kind of wait for it to grow back before you can start into another study. And surgery doesn't exclude you from studies at all, but apparently certain of these other studies do.
They do, and the problem they said with the surgery is each time you do it, of course, the skin is thinner and it's harder to heal, and you risk infection,
and it sucks, actually.
I mean, it sucks. It's brain surgery.
It's not fun.
Although they said it'll be easier this time because the skull won't have healed altogether, and he said you just pop it out.
Pop it out.
Yeah, pop it out. Pop it back in.
Yeah. Easy for the surgeons. They don't think about pain or any of that shit. They just cut, and they're like, nah, you're fine. You'll be great. Oh, don't worry about this. Let me suture that thing up with no freaking anesthesia. Let me
they do
get a crank in there, and man, that shit hurt. And they said, that's what they got to do. So
anyway, in my opinion, if we ever cure CF, this is our next job, is to find a way to have a cancer damn concierge. Like, there has to be someone who is a objective, knowledgeable person that can look at your stuff and then say, here at all of these centers are your options. And if you do this, you might not be able to do that. So if you do that, and it's like the doctor at Jacksonville. We literally said, everybody wants the best people, and he said to Jon, you're a cherry. Everybody is cherry picking you. You're a cherry because you're young, you're in great shape, youngish. You're in great shape. He's the ideal candidate to have a successful outcome. So everybody wants him to be in there. So it feels like nobody is going to be really honest about anything else because they want you in theirs. And we need someone who is objective, who will just say, here's your information. Here's John Baker. Unmethylated, blah, 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 blah. okay, we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this.
Yeah.
Here's the pros and
What
cons
happens
of this,
now
pros and
is
cons
they
of that.
have all that, but then you go to that facility and then all they really know is their own studies. So Dana-Farber knows Dana-Farber. MD Anderson knows theirs. Miami knows theirs. You know, Jacksonville knows theirs. Duke knows theirs. They don't. They kind of know some other ones. And there's a program that they ran the last thing. What was that? CARES? The CARES report.
Oh, yeah.
That took the sample of the tumor from the first surgery, and they ran that through this CARES report, and that apparently was supposed to pull up everything that's available. Now that is partway there, but it didn't really show anything.
Well, it's like what Duke said. Well, you just got to go on clinicaltrials.gov. I mean, Lisa and Jess can tell you go on clinicaltrials.gov. Half of them are closed. They're not even relevant, whatever.
They
So it's
created
like you're
even
spending
spreadsheet was
1,000
just-
extra hours tracking this shit down that isn't even relevant anymore.
Yes,
There needs to be a cancer concierge.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those great ideas that probably other people thought about, but
How to implement.
yeah, you gotta make it happen. So
It needs to be, who was telling me the other day? Somebody said this, maybe it was Ron Walker. He said it's like the Brain Tumor Association, whatever, foundation. It's like the ZF Foundation. Like if there was I don't even know who that is. If there's like a foundation, not individual centers, but a foundation person. So if there's a CF Foundation
and there's not
or a
anyone,
Brain Tumor Foundation,
there's no one
that can just say, here's your person that's assigned to you.
that don't have.
Oh, goddamn, they need it. They
It.
need
Yep.
it. Anyway, what else?
What else? What do we have here? Oh, we just had some just highlights from the
That's it.
holidays were great. A lot of fun. And, you know, you guys, if you're on Facebook, you saw, obviously on Facebook, you saw all the pictures that we posted.
I'm going to post more too. You posted yours. I had to post mine now.
It was, you posted first.
No, I posted just New Year's Eve.
Oh. New Year's Eve was a blast. And then
The kids said it was way more fun for you grown-ups than it was for us.
well, they were playing 70s music and 80s music, so they didn't know any of the songs. Anyway, it was awesome, and I was grateful to be able to ski 5 days out of 5 days and make it.
Yep.
Thanks to workouts with Agostini and with Ron. Ron was with me. He made it 4 days. I think he skied 4 days. Gavin skied 4 days with me, and then the 5th day I went out also. And
You the only one did 5, aren't you?
I'm the only one that did 5. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't done. I could have done a couple more runs for sure. I had no takers.
Oh
my kids were like, "Nope, we're done, Dad. Sorry." I'm like, "Okay, gotta go catch a plane." Conditions were amazing. Salt Lake City was a great place, and Salt Lake City in general.
yeah.
Park City was awesome. We were at the canyons. So much fun. And gotta say thanks to the team, my office, that covered everything, and all the clients that sent in well wishes, and those have been coming in as well. So if any of you guys are watching, thanks a lot. I do appreciate it. And that's all I got.
I know. I have to work in the morning.
So do I. Now you're starting to get it, aren't you?
Oh, we gotta put the rest of the groceries away. The little shits all went upstairs. I won't say go to bed, but I hear them. They're not in bed. All right. Well, it won't be so long till the next one because things are rolling now. But I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you all had a great
We should have
Christmas,
something Wednesday.
holidays.
Some because things might change. Change significantly on Wednesday, or they're just going to continue rolling. And then if that happens, then surgery's on the 20th, and that week we'll see how things go.
Definitely go live from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Jayville. I said I gotta take Raleigh off my Apple Weather Watch
Oh,
because we don't have to go there anymore.
No.
Put Jacksonville on. Anyway.
All right. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year,
Thanks
everybody.
for hanging in with us.
Cheers. Cheers to a healthy 2020.
Yeah, that's right.
Bye.